the best car, SUV, or truck, guess what? You're in luck. Frontier Motors is down the street. Got the best deals that can't be beat. Don't overpay, come in today. Doing business the old-fashioned way. Frontier, we got the right price. Frontier, we'll treat you mighty nice. Frontier Motors, low overhead country.
And we are pleased to have in the studio with us the owner of that fine establishment, Mr. Iven Struckel, has joined us, ready, willing, and certainly more than able to provide you with information, prices on a car, truck, or SUV that you're thinking of buying or selling or trading in. Just give us a call, 476-1007, 476-1007. That's the magic phone number to speak with Iven Struckel with Frontier Motors. Good morning, sir.
Hey, Don, thanks so much. And that phone number is for you out there in your car or perhaps at home listening to us on the radio. We're also videotaping this for our cable subscribers. And if you're watching this on TV, the phone number is at the bottom of your screen, which is Frontier Motors phone number. We're open until 6 o'clock in the evening. And, of course, there's an answering machine after that. So if you're going to call, if you're watching this on TV to get a value, our operators are on duty right now, which would be our salespeople. We've got 11 salespeople and 4 sales managers there to help you with the value of your car. And we bring this show, it's a little bit different format than most car dealer shows. I know that there are 2 or 3 of them that are on the radio, and there's a bunch of them that are on TV. And they normally talk about their inventory and their specials and things like that. And what we do at the Frontier Motor Show that I think sets us apart from most of the other dealerships out there is that we are getting the word out that we give free car advice on what you should pay for a car if you are going to buy a car even somewhere else. And the number one thing, of course, that most dealerships do when they do a radio show or a TV show is talk to you about why you should come to them and their special deals. And of course, we do that also. We do sell cars for a living. That's how we make money. But what we do is we help people in the Pensacola area make sure that they don't pay too much for a car, whether you put the car on Craigslist, on eBay, if you're going to put it on cars.com, sell your car, we can give you some advice on what you should ask for the car. And I know that with the computers, if you put in car prices, you're going to get about 3 different major formats to get an idea of car pricing, and that is the Edmunds, the Kelly, and a consumer's version of the NEDA. And unfortunately, people always ask us why. I don't really know the reason this, but they ask, well, why don't you use the Edmunds? Why don't you use the Kelly Blue Book? And one of the reasons that we don't use those books or formats is because none of the banks or credit unions in our area use that. Our banks and credit unions in our area use a special official NEDA car guide book, which is not, you can't subscribe to this, and you can't get it on the internet unless you're a car dealership or a bank or an insurance company. And this book is kind of important for us because a banker might tell you this is what the value of the car is. What they're really telling you is this is how much we'll loan on the car. So this is important for us because if most people finance, I would say in our situation at Frontier Motors, I would say about 75% of the people finance a car. 25% have the ability to pay cash for the car. But 75% finance, and it's really important that if I'm asking $20,000 for a car and the book value on the car is $19,000, I better figure out what's the deal here. Why am I asking more than the book value? And is there a good reason? Maybe it's got $5,000 worth of aftermarket products. For example, a pickup truck. Let's say it's jacked up. It's got $3,000 worth of wheels and tires. It's got a 5th wheel hitch in the back. It's got a aftermarket navigation system, step bars, chrome this, chrome that. That's going to add value, but the problem is that this book doesn't add for value, and therefore there is sometimes where you're going to be paying more than the retail value of the vehicle. The other book that we use, and of course we get it on the computer system, is the Black Wholesale Guidebook. And the wholesale guidebook on the trucks come out every 2 weeks. On the cars, just cut me off there, Don.
I cut you off and then cut me off. Well, you get the idea.
I'd rather have you cut off. The Black Official Guidebook we use comes out every 2 weeks. The car book comes out every week. And what this does is compiles all of the data from all of the auctions nationwide into a book format that I can look at just by opening it, and I can see that 2012 Porsche Cayenne has an average wholesale of $49,800 and a clean wholesale of $53,500. Now, what I do also to make sure these figures are correct is I get into the computer and I go right to the auction and it show me what the car sold for for the color of the car, the equipment that's on it, the condition that it was in, and what the dealer paid for it. Now, the reason these values are very important is I have to check those values against the NADA book value to see if they jive. Now, let's say that the black wholesale book on a car is $20,000 wholesale, but the retail book on it's $27,000. Well, then I know that the retail book is way too high. In other words, if the banker says, well, this car is worth $27,000, he's wrong. It's not worth that much because dealers don't mark up, I shouldn't say they don't mark their car up $7,000, but they don't get $7,000 when they sell a car. It's way too competitive out there for a dealership. I don't remember the last time I made $7,000 on a car, unless it's a $120,000 car or something like that. And then, of course, it's not a big profit to make that type of money because you put investing so much money. But the average dealer out there makes about $1,500 on a car is the average. Sometimes it fluctuates to $1,200. Sometimes it goes up to $2,000. And that's really not making a profit of $1,500 when you consider what it costs to stay in business. But if you buy a car, some customers would say, well, if you buy a car for $10,000 and sell it for $11,500, you just made $1,500. And I guess I can't argue the point. But if your overhead to stay in business is $1,000 per car, for example, in some dealerships it's $1,500 per car, depending on their overhead. Well, if they sell it for a $1,500 profit, that basically just pays the overhead. They really don't make a profit until they get over that $1,500 hump. And anybody in business knows that. You've got to make a certain amount of money before you break even, and then anything over that is going to be a profit. The advantage of a small dealership like Frontier Motors is that we don't have to make that much money on our cars to be able to stay in business and make a profit because we don't have a mausoleum. We don't have a $3 million or $4 million building. We bought our business it's going on about 17 years now, and we bought it for $105,000 back in 1996. Now, we've added some lots on to be able to handle our increase in business, and we've had to expand our building a couple of times because our sales keep going up. We started with 30 cars, and now we have 300 cars in inventory. As a matter of fact, I've got a new inventory sheet here, and let me see what we have this morning. I also noticed we have a truckload. There's 313 cars in inventory, and there's a truckload being dropped off right now that has 7 cars on it. So as of this morning, Frontier Motors has 320 cars in stock. And the advantage of having that many cars is that you're not sure what you want. I had a customer on Saturday that wanted to look at a Nissan Altima. But while they were there, they asked me a question. They said, well, what else is like an Altima? What else would you recommend? I says, well, being an independent dealer, the advantage that I have is that I can show you the Toyota Camry, which is very similar to the Altima. I can show you the Honda Accord, which is very similar to an Altima. I can show you the Kia Optima. How about the Hyundai Sonata? What about the Mitsubishi Galant? What about the Ford Fusion, the Chevy Malibu? And it goes on and on and on. And the advantage of being an independent dealer that has 320 cars in inventory is that I don't have to sell you a car. I just want you to pick one out. And I told my customer, I says, I don't care if you pick out the Honda, the Nissan, or the Lexus. It doesn't matter to me as long as you pick one out at our lot. That's what our whole goal is. But what we do at Frontier Motors is we show you all of them. Our salespeople unlock every one of our cars every morning. At least they're supposed to. Every morning, they unlock all of our cars, which makes it easy for you that if you're on your lunch hour and you stop in front of your Motors, you don't have to have a salesman run back and forth and get a key. And you'll notice that when you go into a lot of the car lots, if you go car shopping, go to Car City, you'll notice almost none of the car lots had their cars unlocked. And there's a reason for that. They want to make you feel obligated to buy a car. And, of course, the harder they have to work running back and forth, getting keys and getting the car windows down and starting them up, of course, the harder they have to work and the more obligated you're going to be to buy a car from them. We don't use that obligation at Frontier Motors. We tell customers that we will give them a bottom line price in writing, including taxes, title, doc fee. If you got a trade-in, we appraise your trade-in. We can do this all within a matter of 15 minutes maximum once you've picked out the car. You can point to 2 or 3 cars, and we can give you an out-the-door figure on those cars. And we urge you to shop. How do you know if you're getting a good deal unless you go somewhere else? So I put my price in writing, I circle it, and I urge you to shop my price. I'm not going to give you a high price because I want you to come back. Especially for the customer that hasn't bought a car from us before, that don't know how to work. Most of our previous customers that come back, they know how we do business. I'm going to give you a good deal right off the bat. They don't have to sit there and argue for 3 hours. They'll go ahead and, knowing that I'm giving good price, and they'll go ahead and buy the car. But these are just some of the things, and one of the things I got off on a tangent a little bit when we talked about what we offered Frontier Motors over the competition, is that advice situation. If you need advice, what if you totaled your car And you want to know, is the insurance company treating me right? Are they using the same book that we're using? Are they using different books? There's some insurance agencies that are out of the area that might use a different book. And I can help you to make sure that they use the proper value in our area. And I can show you how I come up with this. I have a program in my thing called Price Driver. So if the insurance company, for example, is not using the NEDA book, which they're supposed to use, some insurance companies that are out of the area don't use this book, they might come out and say, well, I found 4 cards that are similar to the one you totaled, and this is what they're going for. Well, I've got a Price Driver, and I can find those same cards. Now, I'll guarantee you I can find cards that are more expensive than the ones they're picking out, especially if they're going under the book value. So if you've totaled a car, you stop at Frontier Motors, I think that we're probably the only dealership that would give you that price and sign it. In other words, based on us being in business, I think I got in the car business when I was 15 years old, I got a pretty good idea that when I give you an appraisal, it's going to be the appraisal that you should be able to get from your insurance company, and that I can also sell you a car for if you wanted me to replace that car for you. So that's one thing we can do, is give you value. On Saturday, one of the things that I had a customer that heard our show, he came in and wanted a diminished value in writing. Now, what is that? Well, he happened to have a Volkswagen Passat that he had just purchased, a 2012 model, and he had gotten into a major accident. I believe the damage on this $20,000 car was $13,000. And he said that, I want to know how much I should ask the insurance company for, based on the fact that now my vehicle is showing up on Carfax as a major accident. How much less is it worth? Well, this particular vehicle, I did an assessment that I felt that the value would drop by $3,000 based on the fact it's going to be harder for me to sell if he decided to trade it. Who's going to buy a car that's had a major accident unless it's a good deal? Now, one advantage I was make fun of sometimes, because if you've got a car that's 2 years old, going on 3 years old, let's say, hypothetically, because the 12 could have been bought in 11, the 2014s are out, so that makes it 3 years old. If they put brand new parts on it, these parts are all brand new. Wouldn't the car have a higher value than a lower value? I guess that's not how most customers look at it when the car's been in an accident. And I'm thinking they use brand new specified Volkswagen parts on this car through a reputable body shop with a better warranty than the factory had. I would think the vehicle would go up in value, but it doesn't. Psychologically, if the vehicle's been damaged, you're going to get less money for it when you're ready to trade. So I put a diminished value of $3,000 in writing that he's going to go back to the insurance company and see if he can get them to reimburse him $3,000 extra dollars, because if he decides to trade that car tomorrow morning, it's not going to be worth the same. And these are just some of the things that we help you with at Frontier Motors. What if you want to list your car on Craigslist? Why not just bring the car? You know, when you go to Craigslist, the first 5 pages are what you got to look for so you don't get scammed. People get very nervous when they put a car on a Craigslist, for example, and have people come over the house, especially on a weekend, maybe at night. They want to drive your car. They want you to finance it. They want you to take a trade, and goes on and on and on. And what we do at Frontier Motors is we make it easy for you. Number one, we'll tell you what to ask. If you are going to go through it yourself, we'll tell you what you should ask for the guy. Forget about book values. We're going to use, based on wholesale value plus profit, what you should ask for that car, to make sure you're not overpricing it, or the other way, to make sure you're not underpricing the car. The other thing I can do is, if I need that car for the lot, what if I just write a check for it? I'll buy it right from you. You don't have to worry about scams or nothing like that. You can take it. You can take the check right down to your local bank and cash it immediately. Cancel the insurance, take your tag off, and you're done. And another thing I can do for you is, let's say that I offered you $10,000 for your car, and you said, nah, I need more like $11,000. What if I put it on consignment and I'll sell it and give you $11,000? We don't charge a percentage. We don't charge a fee. The only thing I do is anything over $11,000 would be mine. So if I sold it for $11,500, I'm making $500. You're getting an extra $1,000, and that's called consignment. And the only thing you have to make sure on consignment is that the vehicle is ready to go. In other words, it has to be what I call lot ready, detailed, gassed up, no issues, no scratches, good tires. And a lot of people that have come to Frontier Motors to ask me to do consignment, I've got to turn them away because they don't want to spend any money on the car. The car tires are less than 50/50. Well, if it was my car, I'd put tires on it. If you don't want to put tires on it, you can't bring it to me. That doesn't mean I won't buy it. I'm just going to deduct for the tires. So those are just some of the things that we can help you with at Frontier Motors. We also talk a little bit about the car business, what's going on. By the way, if you are driving down the road or at home and you want to join us to get a value in the car, don't forget the phone number is 476-1007. That's 476-1007. If you're outside the calling area, just add an 888 to that. So that would be 888-476-1007. I can help you with the value of your car. So if you want to sell it, just to make sure you're getting the right price for it, just give us a call and I'll help you out with that. Talk about the car business a little bit. A lot of things going on in the car business. Lots and lots of exciting things. Well, the most exciting thing that I can think of is the fact the car business is really good right now. Interest rates are at an all-time low. The new cars are selling like hotcakes. I mean, they had some struggles over the last 5 years. New car sales are back. And I'll give you some figures for an example. And they have sales numbers in my automotive news. This is through August of 2013. I'll give you something. For example, 10.6 million is the number of vehicles sold in the first 8 months of 2013. That's more than the 10.4 million they sold all of 2009. So they're already there. Another statistic is 16.1 million. That's the seasonally adjusted annualized selling rate. If we keep selling cars like we have for the first 8 months, for the next 4 months, we're going to end up with 16.1 million. That is the best since November of 2007. So that's pretty darn good. That's the best in 6 years before the recession hit. Total August sales was 1.5 million cars. That's the highest in 75 months. So August was phenomenal. September already is starting out to be phenomenal. 30 is the number of Ford vehicles sold for each Lincoln vehicle sold. I kind of feel sorry for Lincoln dealerships. I know we've got a local Lincoln dealer, and when Mercury bit the dust, when they pulled the plug on Mercury, their sales probably got killed in half. And they won't let the Lincoln dealers merge with the Ford dealerships. They want them separately. So when you only have Lincolns and Ford's outselling them 31, it's somewhat of a problem. The good thing about Lincoln is they've got some great products right now, and they've got some nicer products even coming in the pipeline. So I think that gives them a shot in the arm, and we're selling used Lincolns like crazy at Frontier Motors. 450,000 is the combined sales of the Chevy Silverado and GMC through August. 450,000. The problem is just the F-150 alone sold 500,000. So the Ford is killing General Motors when it comes to truck. When I say killing, 450,000 Chevrolets is a large number, but not as good as Ford. So Ford's still doing better than Chevrolet on the pickup truck end of it. 30,000 Camry lead over the Civic. They're fighting it out to see who is going to be the number one car sold in the United States. And right now, the Camry is leading by 30,000 vehicles. That's very interesting. 10 million. I went over that before. That's the number of sales we went. Let's get away from that. Winners and losers. They talk about what's going on in the car business. Cadillac is up 32% for the year. Good for them. Vince Wibbs is our local dealership. If you're going to buy a brand new Cadillac, I urge you to use Vince Wibbs. They're right here on Highway 29. They've been in business for a long time. They have a great reputation. I always urge you, if you're going to buy a brand new car, get information on the internet from other dealers outside the area, and then use that information to buy from the local dealership. If you go to the local dealership first, for example, and let's say it's a Cadillac, and they tell you it's going to be $30,000. Well, it's too easy to call up the dealership in Mobile or outside the area, outside the state, and say, hey, they said 30,000, will you beat it by 500? And then you go over there and make the trip an hour away to save $500. Of course, I would too, but go do the opposite. Get a figure from those dealerships outside the area first, and then use that information. Say, hey, local dealer, if you beat that sale, that dealer, I will buy it right here in town. And I think that's the best way to do it. We always urge you to buy here. Now, of course, if you're thinking about buying one that might be a year old, you come to Frontier Motors, for example. If you're going to buy a brand new one, you buy from Vince Wibbs. If you buy one that's a 2013, which, by the way, I have a 2013 CTS Coupe, which is that real hot two-door. It's only got 1,300 miles on it. And what you would do is stop at Frontier Motors to see how much I could save you over the price of a brand new one. And if I can't save you any money, I tell you to buy the brand new one. But I'll give you that out-the-door figure, and don't let the list price fool you. Let's say the list price of a new one is $35, and let's say I'm asking $33. Well, that's only a $2,000 savings. You might say, well, for $2,000, I'm going to buy the brand new one. But what if you have a trade-in? What if my fees are less? And what if my bottom line, by the time I circled the out-the-door figure, was $6,000 less than a brand new one? Well, for $6,000, you might want to take me up on our sales. And when we talk about our sales, for example, I'll give you an idea of some of the cars that we have in stock that are used, but they're really not. How about a 2013 Honda CRZ hybrid? That's a little two-door hybrid jobby. It's got 71 miles on. We have a 2013 Volkswagen Beetle with 400 miles on it. If you're going to buy a brand new Beetle, you go to Pete Moore right down the road on Navy Boulevard. If you want to compare it to one with 400 miles on it, you stop in Frontier Motors and you do the comparison. As I said before, if we can't save you but a couple $100, go buy the brand new one. But whether if it's $4,000, $3,000, $5,000, you might want to take a look at ours with 400 miles on. Toyota RAV4 with 400 miles on. Cadillac CTS we talked about. I said 1,500 miles. It has 1,900 miles on it. AMF Harley Davidsons, if you remember that. They weren't the best motorcycles. Well, Jaguars weren't the best cars. It took them another 20-some years, 30 years, to act together to where they have good reliability and the best customer satisfaction, even above Lexus. Lexus has always been the standard of reliability and customer satisfaction. Jaguar, I'm not saying they're the same reliability. I think they're just a hair under Lexus. They've come make a big turnaround. But the customer satisfaction, the people that buy a Jaguar, their satisfaction higher than any manufacturer out there. That's how good the car is and the expectation. And when we pay that much money for a car, I mean, some of these Jaguars are $100,000. That car better be good, because you get very disappointed when you pay $100,000 for a car and the car's got issues. Well, guess what? They don't have issues anymore. Up 30%. Good for Jaguar. Subaru. Billy Anderson he owns the Subaru dealership over here on Highway 29. And Subaru is up 29%. Good for them. I hope they got their share of that 29%. Subaru is one of the best vehicles out there. And we don't do that well with Subarus because they're all-wheel drive. Every Subaru, I'm not sure if you know this, they're all-wheel drive. And some people don't want to pay the little extra premium for an all-wheel drive. But the reliability factor of a Subaru is phenomenal. We do stock pretty many used Subarus. Sometimes we just sold a 2013 Forester the other day. So if you're going to buy a brand new one, see Billy up here at the Anderson Subaru. What a great place and very convenient location, and what a great car. And if you're going to buy one that's maybe 1 or 2 years old, give us a shot. Even if I don't have one, I'll get you one. I can look it right at the auction report, say, okay, this car's selling for $20,000. I can get it home, mark it up this much, and sell it to you for $22,500, and then you compare that to a new one. Well, if you can buy a new one for $22,500, I'll tell you go buy a new one. But if the new one is $32,500, you might buy a 1 or 2 year old car. So that's how it works if you're going to be comparing for one car that's maybe 1 or 2 years old. And Porsche is up 28%. Don't do a real good Porsche business, but they're up 28%, so they're doing good. Dodge, I was going to say Dodge Ram. That would be a mistake. They don't call it Dodge Ram anymore. Your Dodge Ram is no longer. It's just called Ram now. It's a separate division, not in with Dodge. It's just Ram. Well, the Ram truck is up 25%. Good for Ram. I have a friend of ours that bought a 2011 Ram from us. He said it's the best truck he's ever had. And I'm very impressed because I get all the new trucks. They got a new Chevy truck out. They got a new Ford truck out. They got the Ram. Out of all of those, my favorite is the Dodge Ram. But again, being an independent dealership, I can sell you the F-150. I've got a Platinum. I've got a Harley truck. I've got about 15 of these Chevy trucks on the lot. If you're a Chevy man, you come see Frontier Motors, and I can help you out with whatever truck you want. The nice thing is I have them all lined up. I've got the Toyota, the Nissan, and all the big three lined up so you can test drive them all. Instead of having to go into 5 different dealerships, you come to one dealership and you test drive all of them. Losers, Infiniti down 7%, Lincoln down 6%, Volvo down 6%, Jeep down 3%, Kia down 2%, Chrysler down 2%, and Scion down 2%, which is very interesting. And that makes it it looks like they're just down a little bit, but that's actually a lot because all the other manufacturers are up. So to go down in an up market, something's wrong there. I feel kind of bad for those folks because car sales are at all-time high. Again, if you want to, I got a couple minutes left, 476-1007, 476-1007. I don't want to bore everybody with our inventory, but I've talked about some of the cars that we have that are like new. Let me just kind of tell you how many cars Frontier Motors gets in 1 week. And I've got a page of cars right here, and that one page is all what we bought in 1 week. What that means, for those of you listening that have stopped in at Frontier Motors a week ago, I've got about 65 cars that weren't here last week. And every once in a while, I get a customer comes in. I had this happen the other day. Now, this customer actually gave me his phone number, which I thought was pretty good. He came in and said, I want a Sport Track, Ford Sport Track. If you don't know what that is, that's a Ford Explorer with a pickup truck bed on it. That's called a Sport Track. But he wanted a 4x4, had trouble finding one. Well, this gentleman left me his name and number, said, if you get one, call me. So there's one running at the auction tomorrow. Fortunately, he left his name. But some of you folks out there are hesitant to leave your phone number with a car dealership thinking you're going to get called every time that you're eating dinner. which is a possibility, so I don't blame you. But if you stop in at Frontier Motors, leave your phone number. We're not going to call you unless we get what you're looking for, because we get 65 vehicles a day. Some of them don't even make it to the internet. Now, we got a great website at frontiermotorsinc.com, or just Google Frontier Motors. We've got 300 cars inventory, 28 detailed photographs. They all have prices, unless we just got them yesterday. They all have prices on them. So you can navigate the website real easily. You can leave a credit application. You can contact us. You can get a value, on and on. But for those of you that are looking for something specific, you leave your name and number, or maybe just leave your email. If you don't want to get called, leave us your email address so we can send you pictures when we get the car. 05 Acura, this is what we got. I'm just not going to go through the whole list, but just some of them. What we got just in the last, let's say 2 days. 05 Acura MDX, 03 Acura TL, 04 BMW 6 Series convertible, 05 PT Cruiser, 07 Land Rover Range Rover, 2012 Nissan Murano, 04 Tundra, 07 Suburban, 09 Dodge Journey, 07 one-ton Dodge Truck, 2000 Honda Odyssey, 08 Pilot, 13 Elantra, 10 Xterra, 08 Suzuki, 06 Sequoia, 09 BMW 328, 06 Buick Teresa, 010 Cadillac Escalade, 13 Honda Cross Tour, 12 Honda Odyssey, a 13 Lexus ES350, an 11 RX 350, a 2012 Maserati Gran Turismo, a 2013 Corolla. I'm not going to bore you. That's just what we got in the last 2 days. Now, we were closed on Sunday, but these are cars that were stocked in over a 2-day period. So Frontier Motors is a place to go to if you need help on how to sell your car, on which car is a good car, bad car. If you want to know what actual gas mileages are, not ratings, you stop in Frontier Motors. But the main thing that we can help you with, if you're going to buy a brand spanking new car, and we're not going to be able to talk you out of it to buy one that's got maybe 500 miles or 1,500 miles on it, or 2,000 miles or 15,000 miles for that matter, if you're going to buy the brand new one, you stop in Frontier Motors and let us appraise your trade-in. A lot of car dealerships might end up giving you a low appraisal if they don't have the money to buy your vehicle, or if they just don't like it. If they don't like it, you're going to get a low appraisal. So you stop at Frontier Motors, and we'll tell you what we will write you a check for your car. And if we don't need that particular car, we either sell it for you, or we'll tell you what the appraisal should be. You don't want to get an $8,000 appraisal on a car that should be appraised for $10,000. And there are a lot of times where I'll just write you a check for $10,000 and you're done with it. Sometimes you can even trade the car in at the car dealership, and we'll buy it right from the car dealership. That'll save you a little bit of tax money. Again, Frontier Motors, 230 Beverly Parkway. Our phone number at the dealership is 436-8080. Thanks for watching, if you're watching us on cable, and thanks for listening for your radio subscribers out there. Have a great day. Auf Wiedersehen.
Can't be beat, don't overpay. Come in today, doing business the old-fashioned way. Frontier, we got the right price. Frontier, we'll treat you mighty nice. Frontier Motors, low overhead country.